Do you ever wonder whether you can start investing with £100? And I know £100 is quite a lot for some people, but you probably have other questions. Where can I get started? Is this for me? Or is this just for really rich people who just get richer? In this video, I will cover how you can invest £100 per month and it could give you this kind of return. I'd quite happily take £500,000 for investing £100 per month over quite a long period, 42 years. But if you were 18, when you hit 60, you can retire in that. That's the dream. What we'll cover is where could you even find £100 and what's important before you even begin to start investing, and what types of investments do you want to have a look at. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Mark of Desperately Seeking Fi. Where can we get £100 from? I suppose more importantly is, what do we spend our money on? Let's talk about the dreaded thing, a budget. Let's track and figure out how much we actually spend on certain things. And when I did this, I was paying direct debits that I didn't even need. So you could very quickly manage to reduce the amount of money you're spending by just cutting out some things you don't need. Are there some luxuries in there? Do you need the 3 different types of streaming service? Do you need Netflix, Prime, and Apple TV? Possibly not. It might be you go for one off them 1 month, binge on whatever you want, and then switch to the next one and go on to the next box set that you want to watch. Or you could look at downgrading the quality of stuff that you buy. So when you go out and do your shop, do you need to get Heinz baked beans, or could you go for the own store brand? That cuts price, and all of these, as Tesco says, every little helps. And I know nobody likes budgeting, everybody feels under pressure, and you know what? Quite often they don't work because you just get bored, annoyed, or it's just too much hassle. But I'll link down below a budget spreadsheet that you could use just to try and figure out where you're spending your money on. Or you could use one of the money tracking apps like Money Manager, Plum, Emma, something like that, just to try and figure out where it's all going. So what else could you do to get £100? Well, you could look at increasing your income. It might be time to go and ask for a raise at work, or it might be that you need to do a side hustle. If you have a look at this video up here, right, I've done a quick video on some side hustles that could get you £100 a month quite easily. You could look at things like cashback apps. So when you're doing your change of your energy providers, your phone service, you could get a cashback. So have a look at things like Quidco. You could also have a look at getting cashback on your card. I've done a video on Chase Bank, where they give you a 1% kickback. You could go and do mystery shopping, so you could go and have a look at something like Roamler. One that I've started doing recently is match betting, and if you want to have a look, I use Outplayed, and there's a link down below to that. You could go and very easily, even just from the sign-up bonuses, you could make £300 to £400, which is what I did. I make about £100 a month on that by not putting in that much time. I'll do a video on that in the near future, if that's something that people would be interested in. As I always say, invest for the long term, and there's no better way of investing for the long term than signing up to a pension. So if you haven't signed up to your workplace pension, I would definitely recommend that you go and have a look at that and see whether or not your contributions are then matched by your employer. And you could look at a self-invested personal pension where you sign up through somewhere like Vanguard or Hargreaves Lansdown, and you will get an automatic 20% top up from the government. I will consider doing a video on that in the near future. If you want to drop a comment down below, if that's something you'd be interested in, I'm more than happy to have a go at that. There is then, what better way of investing than investing in yourself, increasing your knowledge about everything to do with investing. And we could look at getting our hands on some books and reading those. So I've got a couple of brilliant ones in here. I've got Benjamin Graham's Intelligent Investor, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housler, and one that I really like is How to Own the World by Andrew Craig. I'll drop links down below to those books. You could go and listen to these. It's much easier than trying to wade through. It is a pretty big read, and it's actually sometimes better just to listen to them. So I'll drop Audible link down below just in case you haven't got access to that. And click on there and you get a free trial. Or take a course on something like Skillshare, or just look around on YouTube. So investing in yourself, a great way of getting a brilliant return on investment. The big question is where to actually invest. And this very much comes down to your style, how much time you want to put into it. But in reality, there are two camps that we fall into. Those that actively want to invest and those that passively want to invest. And potentially you can mix those a little bit. So what does that really mean? On the passive side of things, you basically want simplicity, more stability, and more predictability. It's a more hands-off approach. Whereas active investing, you want to do lots of it yourself, you want to do lots of research, etc. So if you listen to what I've just said there, this all comes down to how much time do you have, how much knowledge do you have, and what is your desire? Do you want to be on top of this all the time? Also, what comes into it is your risk appetite. Investing is like a roller coaster. There are highs and lows, and that's why I do recommend reading The Psychology of Money. It really does give you an idea of how to manage your emotions as things are going horribly wrong, and we've just seen a 50% drop in the stock market. It's very easy to press that sell button. What could you invest into? You could just go for the very simple high savings interest account and stick it into a bank. I'll drop a link down below to Money Saving Expert, who has got some great ideas of where you go. I currently have a First Direct bank account where I'm getting 7% interest, and that's pretty good. You could also think of doing a bank switch. Nobody needs to be tied to their bank. They don't care very much for you. You are a number, and literally you could be making up to £200 by switching. Have a look at the article down below. In addition to that, I would be recommending, if you are just starting on this investing journey, that you go for some very simple, low-cost index funds. I've done a couple of videos on this. I will put links somewhere up there, and just go have a quick look at some of those different ETFs that you could potentially invest into. For low-cost ETFs, great place to go and have a look at is either Trading 212, who have no platform costs, or for a beginner, I would recommend going and having a look at Invest Engine. It has no fees if you decide to go for the DIY option. If you want to have a look, there's links down below to both of those platforms. Invest Engine has over 550 ETFs on there, and as I said, looking for low cost, so something that potentially tracks the S&P 500 or the All World Index or emerging markets or US or UK dividends. All great ideas. Go and do a little bit of research into that and see. I would also recommend is that you capture that within your tax wrapper and utilize some, if not all, of your ISA allowance that you have. I've done a video on ISAs that I'll drop up above. This is hugely important. If you think back to that figure that I showed you way back at the start, the amount of money that you have made through this is £442,000. You only put in 50,400. If you didn't have this within your ISA wrapper, you would be paying tax on that £442,000, as opposed to keeping that all for yourself if you'd put it into the tax wrapper. Within that ISA tax wrapper, you could go and invest in individual stocks. If you're just starting out, I would recommend you don't do that. And what I would also recommend is you go and have a look at this video, which sort of talks through how to actually start investing and tells you some of the pitfalls. So thanks very much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, I would love it if you could think of subscribing, because you'll get other content that will help you on your journey to financial independence. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.